Hey there, welcome to the Southern Miss Intramural Sports Sand Volleyball Online Captains Meeting. The purpose of this meeting is to replace the in-person captains meeting that is typically held before the season starts. Once you have viewed, so what does a captain need to do? Captains should be familiar with all rules, schedules, policies, and procedures, and pass this information along to their team members. That way everybody's informed about what's going on. Captains should also assist the intramural sports staff with the implementation of the sportsmanship policy, a policy that we will go over later in this presentation. Teams are encouraged to arrive at least 15 minutes early to every contest. This allows the teams to warm up and to check out any equipment they might need and to start the game on time. Captains are also the representative for each member of the team. It is encouraged that team captains are the ones to discuss rule interpretations and calls with our student officials. Participants are encouraged to have a physical examination and obtain adequate insurance prior to participation in recreational sports activities. Individuals who participate in recreational sports activities will be doing so at their own risk. Participation in recreational sports is voluntary, and the University of Southern Mississippi is not responsible for any injury that may occur to participants. Student health and accident insurance information may be obtained through Student Health Services at 601-266-5390. Concerning lost or stolen items, Southern Miss Recreational Sports assumes no responsibility for items that may be lost, stolen, or damaged during intramural activities. All students are encouraged to secure their valuables. If you are concerned about the security of your valuables, you may locate the sports supervisor on duty, and he or she will attempt to locate a safe place for your belongings. There's a chance that during the fun and excitement of intramural sports, the recreational sports department may want to photograph and videotape participants and use those photographs and videos for promotional materials. If for some reason you choose not to be photographed or filmed, please notify the staff and we'll delete any of the pictures or videos that we have of you. As you're putting together your championship squad, you probably want to know who can play on it. Currently, all undergraduate and graduate students who are enrolled at the university are eligible to play. Faculty and staff are also eligible to play, granted they have purchased a rec card. Spouses of these eligible participants can also participate through the purchase of a rec card in co-rec leagues only. Spouses must be on the same roster. Here at Intramural Sports, we welcome and encourage all students to play intramurals. Sometimes those students are collegiate athletes. Concerning current or former varsity athletes, only 2 individuals who have ever participated on a collegiate level in a sport related to the intramural activity they are attempting to participate in may be on the same roster. Concerning sport club members, only 2 current sport club members are allowed on the same roster in a sport related to the club that they are a member of. Now, when teams wish to play with a sport club athlete and a varsity athlete on the same team, teams can only have a maximum of 2 members who fall under the current, former varsity athlete or sport club member description. These are new rules to the 2015-2016 academic year. Many students ask, how many intramurals can I play? Well, the answer to that question is you can play as many intramurals as you want. However, players can only compete for 1 single-sex team and 1 co-rec team per sport. Players may not transfer from one team to another. There are some new changes this year to the ID policy in regards to checking in to an intramural event. Participants who appear on the imleagues.com team roster by noon of the day of their event may check into the intramural activity with any form of government picture ID. Participants who wish to check into the event but do not appear on the imleagues.com team roster must present their Southern Miss ID or rec card. Now let's get into some rules specific to the game of sand volleyball. For the fall 2015 tournament, teams must have at least 1 freshman student playing at all times. Teams will consist of a maximum of 4 players on the court at one time. A minimum of 2 players are required to start the game. Teams shall designate a team captain or representative to communicate with the intramural staff. Remember, a team includes all players, spectators, and coaches. It is the responsibility of the team captain to ensure that all teammates behave in a sportsmanlike manner. You may be asking yourself, where do sand volleyball games take place? The answer to that question, All matches will be played on the sand volleyball courts located on the north side of the Payne Center. Next question. Do I need to bring any equipment? The answer to that question is no. Intramural Sports will provide all necessary equipment needed to play sand volleyball. However, players will need to make sure that their attire is athletic in nature, and players may also play in their bare feet. Here are a few examples of illegal equipment and legal equipment for sand volleyball. Exposed jewelry of any kind is not to be worn during the game. Below are examples of items that intramural participants will not be allowed to wear during intramural activities. If you have a medical alert bracelet or medical alert necklace, please notify the intramural supervisor on staff, and we will work with you to secure that item to either your wrist or to secure it to your chest. Many of you may be wondering how long games typically last. Matches are usually scheduled every 45 minutes. 5 minutes prior to the game time, the site supervisor will conduct a captain's meeting and coin toss to determine serve, receive, and side. Matches will consist of 3 sets. The first team to win 2 of the 3 sets will be the winner. In sets 1 and sets 2, we will play to 21 points. A team must win by 2 points. There will be a point cap of 30 points. If necessary, the third set will be played to 15 points. A team must win by 2 points. There will be a point cap of 20 points. Teams will receive one 30-second timeout per set. During each game, we will use a rally scoring system. This means that at the end of every point, either the serving team or the receiving team will receive a point. The supervisor on site will keep the score. Games will be self-officiated. If there is a discrepancy between teams, it is a recommendation of Southern Miss Intramural Sports at that point be replayed. If for some reason a team wishes to protest rule interpretation or player eligibility, here are some guidelines that team should be aware of. Individuals who wish to protest must do so at the time of the incident in question. Judgment calls are not subject to protest. The protesting team must notify the site supervisor to suspend play. The supervisor will then document the contest facts and file a report. Signed protest forms must be submitted to the Wellness Center the day following the contest in question. Southern Miss Intramurals reserves the right to investigate the eligibility of teams and players. These investigations may result in suspension, forfeiture, and probation. In order to keep games starting on time, Southern Miss Intramural Sports adopts a policy that game time is forfeit time. If teams know that they cannot make their scheduled match time, there are 2 options that team has. One is to forfeit, and the other is to default. Teams that fail to have the required number of players present at the game site at the designated game time must forfeit the match. A forfeit results in a loss for the team, a sportsmanship rating of 2.0, a suspension of the team captain, and a fee of $15 assessed to that team captain. Once this fee is paid to the Payne Center sales desk, the forfeiting team's captain's suspension will be lifted. The better of these 2 options is to default. If a team informs the intramural office that they cannot make their scheduled game by noon the day of their game, or even further in advance, the game will be defaulted and result in a loss for the defaulting team and a sportsmanship rating of 3.0. There are no fees associated with defaulting a game. Here is the sportsmanship scale for intramural sports. After each game, the officials and site supervisor will come together and determine the sportsmanship upon the behavior of that team during the game. Keep in mind, a team includes players, coaches, and fans. Examples of factors that could affect a team's sportsmanship rating may include team or player dissent towards an official, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties or technical fouls, abusive language, excessive celebration, unruly fans, and so on. Teams must maintain a sportsmanship of 3.0 to be eligible for playoff competition. Happen to be playing on a co-ranked team? If the answer is yes, here are some special rules you should be aware of. Team composition. Each team will consist of 4 players on the court. A minimum of 2 players are required to start the game. When playing with 4 players, 2 must be male and 2 must be female. When playing with 3, you can have 2 males and 1 female, or flip it and have 1 male and 2 females. When there are 2 players on the court, 1 must be male and 1 must be female. In keeping with the rules of this 2015 tournament, teams must have at least 1 freshman student playing at all times. In court positioning, men and women must alternate positions. Therefore, they must also alternate serving, except when a team plays with an odd number of players. Team contact. When the ball is contacted more than once by a team, it must be contacted by a member of each gender. Substitutions. Substitutions can only be made for the upcoming server. All substitutions must be male for male and female for female. Tournament information such as the schedule and bracket will be posted to imleagues.com/USM. Be sure you check your email for updates. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. You can contact Sean Clark, Assistant Director of Intramurals and Club Sports, or David Calhoun, Graduate Assistant of Intramurals and Club Sports at 601-265520, intramurals@usm.edu, or you can message us directly at imleagues.com. Next, by continuing on and completing the Captain's Quiz, you are now verifying that you have completed the online Captain's Meeting video and are aware of all rules, policies, and procedures related to SAM Volleyball. If you have any questions, please contact the intramural office through the information provided in the previous slide. Thank you for viewing the Southern Miss Intramural Sports SAM Volleyball online Captain's Meeting. We wish you the best of luck in the upcoming tournament.